Race fans, welcome back to the 5th and final round of our 2024 SRAM Downhill Southeast Series. We're back at Snowshoe Bike Park for our longest track of the season here in the notorious Western Territory. At 1.4 miles in length with 1,300 feet of vertical drop, this track is physical. The crew here at the mountain has been working hard to bring us another unique course with fresh link-ups of legendary classics. So let's head over for a breakdown on what our racers are up against as they battle for this weekend's bragging rights and the series overall. Right out of the gate, things get quite interesting as we have a mashup that hops back and forth between last year's World Cup section and the classic cupcake into 10-gallon start. Now, this delivers some very tight and technical moves, keeping our racers on their toes as they funnel into a final drop and straight into an open section of fast, off-camber grass turns. Coming back into the trees, a couple of sizable step downs feed right into the upper hairball woods, where more off-camber, loose corners, and smoking fast straightaways eventually choke down into the most technical rock garden on this weekend's track. Dropping into split one, we got a couple of fresh new sections shaking things up. Starting off with the new Pro DH Rhythm section, which is sure to be one of our separators requiring absolute precision to hold pace. A few more turns down the hill, we get into our next fresh section, delivering more loose off camber before spitting racers straight into the meat of the classic Lincoln Log section. A few tight moves and a couple of heavy compressions here feed us into split two. This is where things open up into some fast, fresh corners and the last bit of woods before blasting off the final step down and straight into the finish line. Well, Grizz, it's only been a few short weeks since we were here on the Basin side racing in what was one of the wettest and wildest races of the season, but this weekend's conditions couldn't be more opposite.
Rich, we have landed on the moon. It is a dust bowl here at Snowshoe. Riders are reporting it's going to be a lot of checkers or wreckers, a lot of holding and hoping.
Well, I'll tell you, I just did a walk down the course from our run the other day to now, like we're only a few moments away from the race. Things have blown apart. That fresh cut section going in the Lincoln Log is wild. It is just surfing powder down there, Grizz.
Yeah, from what I was hearing with riders reporting today, it sounds like that is the area you can throw your race run away.
Well, Grizz, we're wrapping up practice. We're just a few moments away from the big event. Let's toss it over to Will and let's get racing.
Thanks, Rich. Grizz, are you fired up for some Downhill Southeast finals today?
Oh, you better believe it, Will. Zanna Logar comes into today's race with 1 point lead over her sister, Raina.
And they've been trading wins this season. Zanna had a win at round number 1 at TTC, and Raina fresh off a win at our last stop at Windrock. We're taking a look at the seeding results from yesterday here at a dry, dusty snowshoe. Raina Logar was on top of the 413 with Delaney Stull almost 5 seconds back, and Zanna Logar in third, 8.3 seconds off her sister's time. Manny Santa Marina will be our first rider on track, Grizz, here in the Pro Women's, and this course is a beast at Snowshoe.
Will, you are absolutely right, but every time I saw Manny in her practice laps this weekend, she was looking effortlessly smooth. I was really impressed with her composure.
Well, you got to be composed if you're going to hold on for over 4 minutes here on the Western Territory at Snowshoe, and we're looking at some sections that we saw in the World Cup last year. This is a newer, upper hairball section, but looks like it's getting chewed up pretty good.
Chewed up, it's hard pack, and it is bone dry. Even in the trees here, it's going to be interesting to see how this course deteriorates throughout the day. You typically don't see this much dust in this section.
And split number 1, a 154 for Manny. She goes into this new entrance to Pro DH and a different route here for Downhill Southeast this year. We are not hitting that classic lower hairball section, but the crew's put together a nice mixture of the Pro DH trail and some fresh sections.
And that new entrance has about the only bit of moisture on the track today. As you can see, Manny is back in the dust. She has landed on the moon, and she is composed, again, managing great pace into this steep bit. Now, Will, this is going to be an area we're going to pay attention to as these race runs develop. This is a section where riders can throw their runs away in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it looks like the braking is hard to come by. Trying to get traction in all this dust, and something we're not used to seeing here at Snowshoe. A couple new berms there, and Manny's going to bust out into the finish corral. Yesterday she had a 4:39, and it's a 4:25 for her today. So that would have been good enough for third placed yesterday as we look to Zanna Logar. Zanna put down a 4:21 yesterday. She's from Davis, West Virginia, and she loves the track here at Snowshoe. Grizz took her first pro win right here last year.
And, well, she's got the confidence to win again here at Snowshoe. She's coming into this race with a 1-point lead. And, she had mentioned yesterday she had some bike issues. Her headset was rattling, and you got to wonder if that kind of just shook her confidence and maybe she backed it off in her seating run. And she's absolutely attacking today.
Zanna looking smooth as she enters this upper hairball woods section. Couple different lines there, anchoring up to get back high on the camber. That right-hand turn's really crucial. She puts in some powerful pedals out of it.
Zanna Logar just holding great pace, taking really calculated lines through this rock garden. Wow, look at her just zip right through here, Will. Impressive.
1:46, that's the split number 1 marker, and that is 3 seconds faster than we saw from Raina yesterday. So Zanna on a good one here. She goes into these unpredictable fresh sections.
She's in it to win it today. She's going to have to. It's going to be winner take all between the Logar sisters. And Zanna right now just throwing down some amazing pace.
Well, she anchors up here. Tries to get a good setup in this fresh off camber. You can see the dirt just evacuating from under her tires. Oh, and it's a big margin.
Wow.
13 seconds up.
Keeping it steady through that steep bit, Will, that paid off dividends. She is on a heater.
And she's got a ton of energy left. The pace through those berms was high, and she's continuing to pump for pace out into the open. She was up big at split number 2. Zanna Logar is going to break the beam of 4:08. 16 seconds up on Manny, and 5 seconds up on the fastest time from seeding yesterday. Let's take a look at this run.
It is on, Will. Zanna Logar just laying down the authoritarian run. This is what she was looking to do today. Great riding from Zanna.
Well, Delaney Stull wants to throw down as well. It's going to be a lot of Davis, West Virginia coming at us, Grizz, as Delaney grown up riding with Zanna and Raina Logar. And she's sitting in a good position to have a podium finish today.
That she is. She's 13 points back on the overall. Well, from the overall. Wow, coming up a little bit short on the old step down there. You know what? I did the same thing a couple times myself. It's smarts when you do that, Will.
Well, I could see the tape flapping in the wind right there, so maybe a little bit unpredictable off the Cupcake Road Gap as Delaney looking very confident here.
Oh, yeah.
Letting that rear end go around and not getting stood up too bad there in that right handle. Let's see what she's got in the rocks.
Oh, and Stull charging through this rock garden.
Just sent that.
Ooh, she just smacked something super hard there, Will. 4.4 seconds.
Yeah, ran a bit wide there.
Yep. She's back, but you know what? She could make it up in this lower bit if she's got the fitness to pump. And maybe she'll just pin it here in the steep bit. Maybe she'll apply some risk and make up some of that time.
Well, the risk reward is high in this fresh cut section as Delaney Stull dives in. She was 4 seconds back at split number 1. Oh, you can see the dirt flying around there, charging hard in this section.
Here she goes. Kind of had a hunch she was going to pin it in here. She probably felt like I stalled that turn. I cased that jump. Oh, and she's going further into the red, Will.
This is a loose run from Delaney Stull. That back end getting all out of sorts off the Lincoln log drop. But she's continuing to press on.
Yeah, impressive race run.
It's going to be a strong season for her, Grizz, her inaugural pro race season. She was our overall winner last year in the Junior Cat 1s. She's going to put down a 4:20.96 to go into second place.
No lack of effort from Stull on that run.
And here's that rock garden and upper hairball. She's going to let off the brakes and just kind of send it up and over a couple of those rocks. That's how you have to ride this section, Grizz. You've got to ride it with commitment. And Raina Logar will be our final rider on track. She was our fastest in qualifying yesterday with a 4:13, but Grizz, we've already seen that time gone by, so Raina will have to bring the heat today if she wants to take a win.
And bringing the heat she is. She's sprinting up to pace on the gas out of the gate here.
And already looking smooth out of that weird right-hander that puts you into cupcake. I mean, that thing's just hard to hit with any sort of consistency. And Raina was on the gas out of that corner.
Look at Raina's form here. She's actually in a what I call a semi-tuck position. She's just accelerating with no effort here. Look at the pace she's carrying. My goodness. Oh, and she just smashed that corner. That was perfection.
Well, it's all going right so far in this run for Raina Logar. Split number 1, and she's up by 1.74. So a lot of terrain between here and the bottom, but it's looking good so far.
Loving this run, Will. Raina is riding like she's got nothing to lose.
And that's kind of how you have to ride. You want to be loose. You can see she even sent it deep there, doubling up a couple of those rollers, so she's got to be feeling good. And this is going to be a crux section of the run here.
You know, she's been loose but precise. And, yeah, that's it. Raina's on a heater here. She's got nothing to lose. She's leaving it all between the tape today, Will. I am impressed with the riding we're seeing out of Logar right now.
Split number 2 coming up here. She makes it off the Lincoln logs. Oh, and she's extended, but just barely, so only 2.61 in it. Going to have to be a big sprint here down to the line for Raina Logar. Cannot afford to give any time back. Will she take her second win in a row here at Downhill Southeast for the finals? And it will be a win for Raina Logar. 2.76 into the green, and that's going to be an overall victory as well, Grizz.
Amazing race run out of Raina Logar. You know, she had nothing to lose, but that pressure is real.
Here's Raina Logar.
All right, Raina, you took the win today and the overall championship. The past 3 races you've built up and taken your sister down at the last 2 races. What does this mean to you, and how was your season overall?
It was pretty good. I slowly made my way up the podium throughout the season, and I had a good run, and it's pretty happy to get the overall and stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome. And after winning the overall this weekend, you like better downhill or cross country?
Oh, I don't know. I'll never know. I can never tell.
We'll keep it up. It seems like what you're doing is working, and they're both complementing each other. So congrats on a great season.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, and here is your podium from today's race. Raina Logar in first, Zanna Logar in second, Delaney Stull in third. It's all Davis, West Virginia up there, Grizz. And it's the same thing for our overall. Congratulations to these ladies.
Next year, I'm looking forward to coming back and racing some fast girls, and it's been super fun racing my sister and racing the fun courses and all the conditions.
With 4 of our 5 rounds completed here in 2024, Titus Nicholson has a 16-point lead in the overall points chase with 158 total points. Jake Kahn with 142 sitting in second place. And Grizz, we've got a 3-way tie for third. Ronnie Vance, Nick Frasier, and Colin Bork, all with 136 points. Let's take a look at seeding results. And Colin Bork doing what he needs to do to try to move up in the overall as he is seated first with a time of 3:40.45. Nick Frasier right on his heels, though, coming in second place. Titus Nicholson rounded out our top 8. He will be on the video show. And Grizz, there was 6 seconds separating Colin and Titus for our top 8, but that top 3 was dangerously close.
Will, you're not joking. Just 1.3 seconds separate our top 3 seeded riders. It is going to be a nail-biter fight to the finish. Is Titus going to do it?
Well, let's get straight into it, Grizz. Matthew Spong will be our hot seat rider before we see the top 8. He's from Louisville, North Carolina. He's got plenty of experience out here on the Downhill Southeast circuit, but he's just getting back up to pace this year. Hadn't seen him at the top of the results sheet yet.
Yeah, look at the riding out of Spong. Oh, keeping it buttery smooth off this drop here. And, you know, Will, it's still dusty. It looks like the track hasn't deteriorated too much from pro women's finals that we just saw. But unusually dusty at Snowshoe, nevertheless.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see some interesting line from the men through that rock garden. They've got a couple different options. Spong's a 133 at split number 1, so Only 2 seconds off the pace from our fastest split one yesterday. This could be some really tight racing.
Spong opting for the triple through this new section here. And we're going to watch riders. It's going to be interesting to see riders manage their pace and intensity in this section, Will, because it gets steep and dusty. So this is a critical section that these riders can very easily throw their race runs away. Some time to be made up, but wow, look at that. Spong just handling business.
Yeah, that was some creative riding. And that's what you love about having a new fresh section in a race run like that one right there, linking into the classic Lincoln Log section of Lower Pro DH here at Snowshoe. And yeah, it's a different flavor for the bottom half of the race course. We've always been on the lower hairball section here at Downhill Southeast, but a new challenge for our Pro Cat 1 racers this year, as Matt Spong will start us off with a 3:43, so only 3 seconds off that fastest time from yesterday. Everybody is coming to play today for finals.
That is a solid bar to raise.
Well, Titus Nicholson seeded 8th yesterday, but he's looking to lock up the season overall title. Oh, and those locks are luscious today. He's got that number 1 plate on the bike for Defiant Racing.
Oh, look at this line. Look at that setup into that berm out of Titus. That was awesome. We saw Spong do the same line as well, and wow, Titus going inside.
Yeah, these conditions should play into Titus's strength. Fast and loose here in Snowshoe, double over the rocks, setting up really well to this tight right-hander. That's going to be a key turn all day. 2 feet up for Nicholson.
Yeah, Nicholson's riding like he wants that number plate to stay on the front of his Defiant GT. And Defiant Racing has been on a winning streak. They've won 3 of the 4 races so far this season at Downhill Southeast. Nicholson in the green, split 1, Will.
Yeah, even with that stall there in the upper hairball rock garden, he was able to get right back up to pace. You do have some good gravity right there, so a mistake that you could be able to wash away with some good riding later on down the track.
And you see Titus grabbing a couple pedals out of that awkward left corner, smashing into the steep bit here. Oh, managing that corner great. Look at the exit speed out of Titus. Charging.
And he's 1.48 into the green now. And, you know, he didn't have to charge that hard today, Grizz, to take the win. I mean, his points lead is 16 points over Jake Kahn, but Titus is just not a rider that can hold back. That's not his MO. It's not his style. And he's going to put down a fast one. Let's see how close he gets to that time of Colin Bort from yesterday. It's a 3:42.8. So 2.8 seconds off that top time from Colin yesterday. See how long that holds up.
You know, Will, you said it great there. Titus didn't have to give her the beans today, but he didn't hold back, did he? Smashing these rock gardens like they're nothing.
Yeah, could have been a day ender right there, but he saved it from going off course. As we look to Spencer Brown from Pisgah Forest, North Carolina. They done a 3:46 yesterday. We just saw Titus knock 3 seconds off his time from yesterday, so maybe something similar coming from Spencer.
Yeah, it's good to see the track is running. You know, it's actually difficult to say if the track is running faster or slower than yesterday, or if the riders just maybe didn't push so hard in that flat section in the middle, and they're throwing a little bit more intensity at it today, as Brown is on the 10 out of 10 on the intensity. Whoa, look at that drift, Will, holding it together.
Just barely hanging it on there. And but he's got his composure back, was able to nail that right-hand corner and right down the gut.
Brown on the gas, not holding back in these rocks.
1.68 into the green, Grizz. He's on the edge.
And we see Brown applying a little bit more risk than we just saw from Titus Nicholson, and it's paid off for him so far. He's up at split 1, and look at the pop he's got. So pace and composure as he heads into the steepest bit of the track here, Will.
Well, let's see if he lets it wide open again. He was loose in upper hairball. He's going to take it straight to the outside.
Yeah, Brown.
I saw nothing wrong with that.
Nope, not too much risk. Great execution. Still 0.28 up in the green. He lost a little bit of time there, but you know what? You could also throw the race run away very easily in that steep bit, Will. So Brown opting for a wise decision to not go too hard there.
Well, it looks like it could be a new hot seat run from Spencer Brown. He's going to cross the finish line, and he will go fastest, a 3:01.83.28 into the hot seat. Oh, and he's loving it. He's stoked.
Yeah, that was a great race run. He threw down some heat on the intensity up top. Look at the roost, Brat. Spencer Brown getting the fans' approval through that section as well. Roost of the day. What an exciting race run, Will.
Well, and here's Dominic Mudry from North Royalton, Ohio. Put down a 3:44 yesterday, seated in 6th place. And Grizz, we saw him throw it down at Windrock. He was 3rd place on the podium for his best ever downhill Southeast result.
Yeah, Mudry held down the hot seat for a hot minute at Windrock. And although he is not in contention for the points overall, he can be a disruptor, right? If he gets himself in between Nick Frasier or Colin Bork, Ronnie Vance, or kind of just separate those riders, he can mix up the points today for these overall contenders.
And there's something about the guys from Ohio, man. I feel like they ride with a chip on their shoulder when they come into downhill Southeast. They're always trying to make some noise, and Dominic's kind of found his place at the top of the pack. Oh, and he's a half second up at split 1.
Yeah, and on that, Will, I mean, how much elevation is there available in Ohio? Is that the chip?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Mudry's probably learning how to rail ruts on like a freeway overpass. That's a Midwest staple. You see slaloms off the side of the highway all day in states like Iowa, Indiana, Ohio.
Well, and he's loving this loose terrain here in Snowshoe. Snowshoe not too far away from folks in Ohio as well, so I feel like they're right at home here on these slopes. But he's dropped some time back, 2.6 now into the red.
And Mudry not holding back. He's charging hard here. Looks like he's trying to make up time. Maybe he feels like he made some mistakes that cost him a bit much up top.
Yeah, I thought I saw a little bit of dirt on the side of Dominic Mudry. He's going to cross the line, and you can kind of see him nodding his head. 3.2 seconds back, so not what he was looking for.
Yeah, you called it, Will. That's the kind of shake of disapproval. Something didn't go right, but he smashed these rocks. No fear out of this kid.
Here's Jordan Bolden out of Oliver Springs, Tennessee. We've got 5 riders to go. Jordan put down a 3:43 yesterday. Man, he's got that intense downhill bike. He's got the Thor gear. I mean, that's looking like an Aaron Gwynn setup from circa 2023.
Yeah, it's kind of like the modern American hero type kit. The American-made bike. The Intense M1. I grew up racing an Intense M1. They weren't nearly as good as the modern-day equipment, but hey, here comes Bolden.
Well, Jordan's a super exciting rider to watch. Get at him on Instagram to see highlights from all the shredding that happens in Windrock.
Jordan Bolden just taking charge, smashing through these rocks. He's been having great exit speed out of all the corners we've seen so far. Oh, but he's in touch, a little bit back in the red on split 1, Will.
Bolden just about a second off the pace of Spencer Brown. And he's been working his way back up. Had a broken arm early in the season in Costa Rica. Bunch of folks from the Southeast always going down there. Guatemala. Get some racing and kind of reared its ugly head and bit him. But looks like he's back up to full fitness. This is a huge track to try to put it together on.
And Jordan opting for a nice composed, not too much risk in that steep section. And guess what? It's working out for him. He's climbing back. He's reeling it in here, Will.
Well, that time of Spencer Brown's does look beatable, as Jordan Bolden's proving right here. He's got to make up a half second if he wants to knock Spencer off the hot seat.
What is the time going to tell us, Will?
Well, he's lost some time down at the bottom. 2.8 seconds off the pace, so Spencer Brown dodges another one. Let's take a look back up at this run. Bolden in the rocks.
Yeah, Bolden just backing it up, smacking that M1 in true OG Chris Kavarik fashion. I think Kavarik would be proud of that riding out of Jordan Bolden.
Well, Jake Kahn from Oliver Springs, Tennessee, is in the battle for the overall points podium. He's sitting in second place right now. 16 points out of first, but he's got 3 riders nipping at his heels that are just 6 points behind him, so he's got to deliver today.
That's right, Will. This is a podium or nothing type day for Jake Kahn. You know he's going to want to win that overall, although mathematically it's... And we've got a safe and sound Titus Nicholson, so mathematically Jake Kahn likely not going to win, but hey, he's not going to hold anything back here today. Look at that setup, holding great pace and composure on the top half of this track here at Snowshoe.
Yeah, perfectly executed. You got to be patient in that section with that really tight right-hand corner coming out of there. On straight down the gut of that rock garden. Can't see anything wrong in that line, and he is on pace with Spencer Brown right there neck and neck with him.
Yeah, Jake executing good pop. Looks like he's not throwing too much mustard at this section here. Good pace and composure out of Jake coming into the steepest bit of the track here. What's he going to do in the steep bit? Is he going to risk it, or is he going to just hold nice composure? We're about to find out.
I know this section's been evolving all week long. Kahn going to throw it right to the outside in that left-hand rut. And maybe a small hang-up, but that looked pretty good from where I'm at. And he's extended. He's 1.3 in the green.
That execution out of Jake Kahn really worked out. Ample risk, but not too much.
1.3 in the green. This could be huge for Jake Kahn's overall series points chances. Will he be able to knock Spencer Brown out of that hot seat? Spencer's been getting pretty comfortable and lost the time at the bottom, Grizz. 1 second back.
Oh, that is going to sting. But you know what? That was great riding out of Jake Kahn. He did everything he possibly could. Left it all on the track. Got to give it up to the racing gods for the overall.
Well, let's head to the hot seat.
All right, Spencer came down with an awesome run in the hot seat now. How is it, and how do you think it's going to hold up?
I felt pretty good going down. It's very dusty, so I think it'll get worse, but it was fun.
Cool, man. Yeah. And you looking good for the overall this season? How was the whole season for you?
Pretty good. I was struggling trying to get in the top 10, but I did this race, so I'm happy.
Cool. Congrats. Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, we've just got our top 3 left to go as Ronnie Vance prepares to take the track here in Snowshoe. It looks like he's got something up his sleeve, Grizz, and I hope he does, because he is in a battle with Nick Frasier and Colin Bork for the final spot of that overall podium.
Yeah, Ronnie Vance with a smirk of confidence, and it looks like he is taking charge. He's on a commanding race run thus far out of the gate. Wow, getting a little loose for us into this new drop here. Oh, he's unclipped, Will.
Oh my God, his left foot was totally not in the pedal off that little road gap that we call shortcake, but he's got 2 feet back in it. Well, that's one way to wake you up at the start of your race run.
Ronnie just, he's going to have to make lemonade out of that top section. He's going to have to hold it together, maintain his composure. Are we going to see him apply some risk in the steepest section of the track to try to make up some of that time? Or is he just going to hold it composed and not throw it away?
Oh, I think this is a day that he's going to have to throw everything at it because he's battling with Nick Frasier and Colin Bork, and those 2 young guys are not going to hold back. As you see, the heels digging in from Ronnie Vance, and he's going to go in between those 2 trees. No, his foot's out again.
Oh, looks like Ronnie may have got offline there. He had an overextended corner that he had to unclip for, but wow, he's still in the green, Will.
Well, Ronnie Vance making it work here. He is determined to put down a good time. Spencer Brown still comfortable in that hot seat, and Ronnie Vance is going to come down, break the beam just outside that time of Spencer Brown. 0.3 of a second out of the hot seat. But he's thrown down a good time. He's put a good one on the board.
Yeah, Ronnie was shaking his head. He knows he made some mistakes. Right here, he comes unclipped for the second time, but bringing it back together. That was what I call a grave digger race run.
Nick Frasier, seated second yesterday, 2 riders ago. He's out of Vernon, Connecticut. He's only 16 years old, Grizz. Two second-place finishes on the season so far, Massanutten and Windrock. Oh, and Frasier tugs to the moon.
Yeah, you hear the crowds throwing the approval. Wow. Nick Frasier on a speed and style race run. Oh, smashing that right-hander. Frasier entering these rocks, taking the Ace of Vermette line through this rock garden. Only rider to take that line today, Will. Unbelievable. And he is up at split 1 by 1.38 seconds.
Oh, well, that risk has paid off huge. That's such a committed line. I mean, very few World Cup racers were doing that line when the World Cup was here last year. So a big move for Nick Frasier. It's put him in position to potentially take the hot seat here.
And Nick Frasier throwing down intensity in this flat motorway, entering with great speed. Oh, railing that corner. That's the hardest corner on the track by far. And Nick Frasier just making it look easy.
And the time, look at that. 5.39 up for Nick Frasier. Where has he found that?
I think he found it, in the cojones department. This kid is just no fear. Holy cow.
Well, Nick Frasier looking real comfortable on that Southern Gravity downhill bike, and he's going to put it into the hot seat by 6 seconds, a 3:34.24, a full 6 seconds faster than Colin Bork's seating time from yesterday. We got to have another look at that run.
Yeah, man, the huevos on this kid. He just didn't care. Well, he threw caution to the wind and executed a near flawless yet loose race run. Outstanding riding.
And our final rider is in the gate. It's Colin Bork for Defiant Racing out of Hamden, Connecticut. Put down a 3:40 yesterday. He took his first win in the Pro Ranks of Downhill Southeast right here at Snowshoe on the Basin side. He's trying to continue those winning ways in 2024.
Hey, Colin Bork knows he can do it. He won here at the last round we had at Snowshoe. And looks like he is charging to rinse and repeat. He wants his second win of his pro downhill race career.
And he's battling with Nick Frasier for a spot on the series overall podium. These guys put in so much work traveling the circuit as Bork just rips that right-hander.
Oh, Colin Bork just applying risk at this top section. This is a section where he's going to look to make as much time, and he's 2.02 seconds up at split 1, Will.
And that is huge from Colin Bork because we just saw Nick Frasier tear the field to pieces. This could be something special.
Oh, no. Disaster for Colin Bork.
Bork has it shut down. I'm not sure what's happened.
Looks like it's tough to tell. I don't know if he's had a mechanical. He doesn't look dirty. Oh, Colin Bork is going to be devastated.
Wow. He was playing with fire today, Grizz, and looks like he got burned. But what a season for him this year. So great to see him break out. He's had incredible support from Defiant Racing.
Yeah, Colin's going to be disappointed on the day, but he should hang his head up high as he claps that suicide for us. Attaboy, Colin.
Well, it's going to be the win to Nick Frasier today. We got to take one more look at that suicide, though, before we hit the podium. Kids these days, Grizz. Full extension. And here's your pro men's podium for the final run of SRAM Downhill Southeast. Nick Frasier, Spencer Brown, and Ronnie Vance rounded out your podium. Let's go talk to Nick Frasier.
All right, Nick Frasier took the win today, made it happen in the dust. How was your run?
It was really good. Had tiny mistakes, but it was just really fun. Had fun out there in the dust.
Cool, man. And you've been getting better every race. Does it feel good to end the season on a positive and climb the results to take the win here at the final round?
Yeah, it's great. I've been looking for it all season, and I'm just so stoked to take it here in the finals. It's really, really fun.
Cool. Good job.
Here's our overall podium for the 2024 SRAM Downhill Southeast. Jake Kahn, Nick Frasier, and Titus Nicholson, your overall winner. Let's hear from Titus.
It's so awesome to be all the other previous people who have got the overall are all the buddies that I train with in Tennessee at Windrock. It's just so awesome to be one of the dudes that grabbed the overall.
Well, there you have it. 2024 SRAM Downhill Southeast season. That's a wrap. On behalf of myself and the entire crew here at the Gravity Cooperative, we want to thank you for supporting U.S. Downhill. We'll see you again next season, but until then, we hope to see you out on the trails.